Joel Hoekstra, the incendiary one.
How's it going, bro?
How's it going, man?
It's going great, man. Thank you for taking the time out. I appreciate it. Especially, dude, on an episode with the big unit. That doesn't get any cooler, man. I love Randy Johnson.
Have you ever met him?
I have never met Randy Johnson, man. I would love to. He's, what a pitcher, man, and what attitude. When he started out with the Mariners, then went to the Astros, and he was unhittable for a half season or something, right? But his ERA was, 1 point something. Crazy. And then what? Diamondbacks from there, right? World Championship, World Series title, and then
killed the bird,
and then the Yankees, right? Wrapped it up with the Yankees. Amazing, man.
Yeah, and he's a huge hard rock and metal fan. I met him at the Big Four at Yankee Stadium, and it was just so funny to see him walk through the crowd because he's 6'11" and he just holds the camera up here and he's above everybody. He's the perfect height for a photographer.
Yeah, man. He's anyway. As a rocker, you couldn't help but look at Randy Johnson out there and go, dude, that guy. He's one of us. You could tell.
Oh, for sure. He had the long hair all the time, until he went to the Yankees and they made him cut it off. But, he was vicious. I don't care, what team you rooted for, man. Randy Johnson was a beast. I used to, when we were doing that metal show, I kept hearing, through the grapevine, Randy Johnson's a fan of the show, and he's a big metal fan, and one thing led to another, and like I said, I met him at the Big Four, and then we just sort of been sliding into each other's DMs over the last few years, and so, it was really cool to interview him, but great to talk to you, and congrats on the new record. It's called Running Games, which, was that an Arnold Schwarzenegger film? Was that Running Games?
Oh, man, I hope not.
Was that,
I did.
Was that the run? Oh, that was Running Man. That was Running Man.
Okay, good. Oh, good.
Running Games was a Jennifer Lawrence film, wasn't it? What was her movie?
I don't know, man. I liked the
Games.
title in my head.
Hunger Games. Hers is Hunger. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hunger Games. Yours. So you're clear. Running Games.
I'm
is
in the
clear.
clear.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal.
So this is your third solo album, and I was thinking about this morning, Joel, when I was coming in. This is your third solo album under the name Joel Hoekstra 13.
Second one.
Oh, it's the second one. Okay. But I'm starting to see,
I can see you're a big fan, Don. I can see you're a big fan.
Yeah, you have don't you have a band? I know you have regular solo albums that are more instrumental.
Yeah. Years ago, I had the instrumental albums out, and they were kind of more when I was in the fusion scene and all kinds of different styles. And so what happened is I started getting a little more well-known in the hard rock scene with Night Ranger, Rock of Ages, Whitesnake, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, whatever, and people were like, well, how come your solo album sound completely different? And so I wanted to do, something in the hard rock scene, man. Just it's something that sounds like a band, but the trick is that I'm writing everything on it, including the lyrics and the vocal melodies. So, I just got all my favorite guys from the classic rock scene and started making these, and I love it, man. I have great fun doing it.
Yeah, and if you take a minute to stop correcting me, I can properly compare you to the. I consider you like the American Michael Schenker in a lot of ways because you're doing this band thing, which really relies on songwriting, first and foremost. But you're a guitar virtuoso, so that's got to be a part of it as well. So that's what Michael's sort of done in his solo career is write catchy hard rock songs, but also display his unique style. So there you go.
I'll take the comparison. I'm not so sure Michael Schenker would, but hey, it's all good, man. Thank you so much. I mean, look, dude, I just want to make good, solid rock albums with these. That's it. It's not about proving what kind of guitar player I am or long guitar solos or trying to be progressive or anything like that. I just wanted to come from a place of, look, when it comes to this music, what do I like to hear? And I like, good hard rock, but I do like some, melody and like hooks to it. So, this stuff is very late 70s, early 80s, I would say. I say it's melodic hard rock that's Dio-ish at its heaviest and Foreigner-ish at its lightest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I can buy that. Now, obviously, you're on a shoestring budget because this band, this like third-rate band that you put together. Who are these? Who are these no-name people in your band? Let's get them a little exposure. Talk about them.
Yeah, so Russell Allen is singing. Those that don't know him, Symphony X and Adrenaline Mob. And
he's been on this show.
Russ can really sing anything, man. I mean, he's really amazing. We finally got to know each other with him joining Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So we're bandmates. We tour together every year. But this, I mean, he's just the guy that can sing anything I need sung on this, man.
The great, he's a Jersey boy.
Yeah, and he's a Jersey boy. Yeah, we're nearby. So I mean, at this point in time, Russ and I are good friends. So it's a great situation. And Tony Franklin is playing bass on it, and it really started with him. We had done this project called VHF that I think about 3 or 4 people bought. It was this psychedelic instrumental rock, and I told him I want to do this, make it a little more like just 80s rock, man, straight ahead, but with something where I'm doing the writing, but it's going to sound kind of, like a band.
Yeah.
And he was in, and he recommended Vinny Appice as somebody he'd want to play with on drums, and I thought that was great because I grew up listening to Vinny, man, So having them for a rhythm section, sort of that laid the groundwork for what kind of style I was going to be headed towards with it. And Russell actually came on board after that. Just he joined TSO. I thought, well, this is great, man. He can sing Dio like nobody's business, and can sing Lou Gramm and can sing Paul Rogers. I mean, this is like, what more can you ask for? So having Russ on board was an amazing thing. And then Dirk Sherinian, keyboards. I made a lot more room for him on this album so people can hear him soloing. On the first one, Dying to Live, he was a little bit of a last-minute addition. So it was like, if there was a keyboard solo from Dirk, it was like me taking a pass on doing a guitar solo. Like, well, we'll let you solo in this one. But this one, because it was kind of clear, all right, we got this lineup. There's a little more room for him and I to trade. And it's fun. It's kind of like, those moments on the Malmsteen records where you got the keyboard and the guitar going back and forth at times. Perfect foil, and Derek's just got the best sounds and just very, very proficient guy, man.
Oh, and obviously I was being sarcastic about this being a no-name band. I mean, it'd be tough to put together a better lineup than this one. Of course, for people not familiar with Tony Franklin, he played bass in Blue Murder, so perfect guy to put in there with Vinny, with Derek, with yourself, and of course the powerhouse on vocals. I mean, that lineup, right? That's better, That's better lineup than the Knicks. In fact, I think you guys could actually, your band could actually beat the Knicks at this point.
Man, they're coming along, the Knicks. I mean, I grew up in the burbs of Chicago, so I'm a Bulls fan. So I know about the tough times right now as well. Although the Knicks, it's almost like they've become prodigious at remaining bad. I mean, it's amazing how the stretch they've gone on of being bad. You'd figure sooner or later, being a destination that NBA players would want to play in, that sooner or later, just by default, they'd get a kick-ass team, right?
Well, you think, but their management has choked worse than Latrell Sprewell over the last couple decades. So.
Yeah, the PJ Carlissimo moment, right? I remember. I know. I've been saying, dude, we need to talk sports sometime. You and we're always talking rock, but I'm a sports guy too. That's my escape from music. Basically.
Yeah, you're a big hoops player because whenever we're on the cruise, you have a game organized every year on the cruise, and then you're just up there. I always see you up there shooting hoops anyway. So yeah, I know you're a big sports guy.
Yeah, for me that's a benefit on the ship, just getting out there and shooting some hoops in the sunlight out there. I mean, what's not to like, man? And the absurdity of last year having a basketball team that was Gary Sharon and Richie Kotzen and Doug Aldrich and Nuno Betancourt and myself. I mean, what more can you ask for, man? And to get to see those guys play basketball together. I mean, obviously make music together, but it was such great fun. I think everybody. It's not that any of us are actually good basketball players, but I think to have the opportunity to do that and just be ourselves out there, have a blast. That was everybody. All those guys told me that was more fun than their gig.
Yeah,
on the cruise.
Yeah,
which I would agree with. I had more fun doing that than playing my show.
Yeah, and the fans get to play against you guys, and that's that's the spirit of the cruise. You everyone sits and has breakfast together. People do activities together, and then obviously the shows are the big draw. But it's that kind of one-on-one thing, and let's face it, you're one of the healthier guys on the cruise usually anyway. So for you to put on a pair of high tops and some shorts is not out of the realm for you. So that's a really cool thing. So we're talking about, I mean, maestros at their instruments like a Derek Sherinian, and you've collaborated with so many people at this point, Joel. You have any favorites off the top of your head, or is there anybody that you still haven't been able to that you want to?
My career is such that I just kind of ride the wave, man. I just do the best I can at every turn, and then life ends up taking me to these places that I never thought I'd end up in. The examples that I always give to people are like, Cher. Playing guitar for her was not... Listen, when I was 11 years old playing Black Sabbath riffs, I wasn't like, someday I'm going to play guitar for Cher, but I mean, that was a great opportunity to work with a pop icon and go out and play these giant arena shows for 20,000 people and step out with her. And the other example I always give is the Broadway gig, Rock of Ages. That's something that I never set out going, someday I'm going to be on Broadway. That's just, never entered into my thought process. But that ended up being something, because I could take off whenever I needed to and tour throughout that time with Night Ranger and with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That ended up really being something that changed my life, because I had 6+ years of having a gig every day, right? I mean, if I'm not on tour, what better thing to do than come home and actually have a gig, and be able to gig regularly with it in front of a large audience. I mean, that it really helped me become, take a step up from the struggling guitar player with very little money in the bank at the end of those 6 years of being a guy that, some people knew in our scene and have a little bit of money in the bank and be like, hey, I might actually be able to do this.
Yeah, and most importantly, you met me, so you can't discount that.
Exactly, dude. It led me to the greatness that is Don Jamieson, man. I mean,
but priceless. Now, let me ask you, because this just came into my mind about, and I know you've been playing for Cher for years. Because I think it could rub off the other way. I know people break your balls a little bit, on social media. Why is this guy playing with Cher? Who cares? Doesn't matter. That's all you get on social media anyway, half the time. But the thing I'm more interested in is, do you rub off any of that stuff on her? In other words, like, for example, Monty Pittman, who's a great heavy metal shredder, does albums for Metal Blade that are super heavy, but his day job, quote unquote, is playing guitar in Madonna's band. Mm-hmm. And he's sort of like, he taught her how to play guitar, and then she started getting into the heavier stuff. And I know at one point on one of their tours, she was playing like a guitar solo, and she was doing like Walk from Pantera and putting these heavy riffs in. So I don't know if any of that, Cher is picking up any of that vibe from you at all.
I don't know. There was one day she came in talking about wanting to do a Whitesnake song, and I thought, is that because I've been here playing guitar? But I don't think I could take credit for it. I think she saw the Geico commercials that were happening at the time and thought, yeah, that rocks. I wouldn't mind doing that. Nothing became of it, but there was a little bit of talk about it, which I would like to take credit for, but I don't think I can.
Yeah, listen, she actually has some songs that are real rockers. So in the set, was it Gypsy? What's that song? Gypsy Thieves and Wild
Tramps
Men.
And Thieves. Yeah.
Your
title's better.
Well, I'm trying to go back to the 13-year-old me in the car with my mom with the radio on. But yeah, back then, that stuff was considered rock. And hey, she's still going. And you know what? It's a steady gig. And, I'm just happy for you, man. It gives you another dynamic to your playing, obviously. But let me revisit the last question, because I don't think you really got to it. Is there anybody that you haven't collaborated with that you still have in mind, or you just sort of like you said, you're just whoever comes into my life, that's it?
Oh, I guess my point is with that is that I just roll with like working the best I can at every turn and explore every avenue and see where life kind of takes me. I get a lot of emails from younger players that are being very specific, like, how can I be in Trans-Siberian Orchestra someday? That's my dream gig. And I think the answer is you just kind of have to put everything out there and do the best you can at everything, and then you sometimes so. I don't have an answer with that for you. I mean, it would be a great headline if I did, but I don't really think like, man, someday that person.
Yeah.
Now meeting Randy Johnson. Now there you go.
Okay. Well, we'll arrange that for the next one when we could all be in the studio together, hopefully sooner than later. I want to talk to you about your days playing with Night Ranger, because I know you're still tight with them. You popped on with when I had Brad Gillis on. The thing I got to know about them, besides their great musical catalog and obviously just great dudes and fun to play with, everyone wants to know, is Ranger Danger real?
Is Ranger Danger real? I mean, Gillis and I had a lot of fun when I joined that band, man. I mean, for a minute there, we made the '80s happen again. I was having a lot of fun with him, man. We partied pretty hard when I joined the band. I had a blast with him. So then I became a responsible, boring adult, and somehow you still associate yourself with me. I'm lucky, but I had a blast with those guys, man. That was something that really took me from being an unknown, very green when I joined Night Ranger.
Yeah.
Great 7 years experience. That's like so hard to summarize in a couple lines, right? Like you spent 7 years with the band, and what was that like? It's like, well, it was awesome. I mean, I guess that's about as much as I could summarize it. But yeah, I owe so much to those guys in terms of the opportunity to join that band, and even since I've become friends with Jeff Watson, which is really cool. When I left the band, Jeff reached out to me, and that has opened up a whole nother level of friendships with guitar players that he's friends with. And I mean, what people don't realize with a guy like me, I just feel totally lucky to be there in the first place. These are guys that I grew up listening to and admiring. I mean, I remember that I was just starting guitar when I was listening to Speak of the Devil with Brad on there,
Sure.
So there I am years later out partying with them, and that for me, I'm a fan of his stuff. I grew up on it, so it's like it's a little bit the comparison to the cheesy Mark Wahlberg thing, right? It's for me to get the opportunity to work with any of these guys. It's amazing to me. So I try not to take it for granted. I mean, there's moments where work is work, and you got to focus and do it. But in general, I'm just always super excited about it all. Like, man, it's incredible. Like to be just a small part of the history of a band like Whitesnake is really awesome for me. I mean, it's mind-blowing might be strong. It sounds like my mind is but just to have the opportunity is incredible.
Yeah, well, listen, DC himself calls you incendiary, so it doesn't get much better than that. And let's face it, you're so well respected in the business, and you're not a boring, responsible man. You're tons of fun, and most importantly, is you're making great music. The new album's called Running Games. It's from our friends at Frontiers Records, who are great supporters of the scene. I always love to give them a shout out as well. Here's something that's fun. Not only do you have a new album out, you have been forever. What's the word I'm looking for? You have your own bobblehead out, so you are forever carved in wax or whatever they make bobbleheads out of.
Yeah, man. Well, I had a couple of fans bring me those. When you do Trans-Siberian Orchestra, there's a signing line, and fans often, because it's the holidays, they bring you gifts, and that's one of the things that I miss about the whole tradition this past year. It was such a bummer not to do that tour. But I had the bobbleheads, and I started putting them in my quarantine videos from home at the beginning, all this stuff, just having fun. And next thing I knew, I had a company coming, hey, we want to get an official one made for you, And I thought, oh my gosh, this is pretty incredible. So yeah, I'm going to mess it up now. Bobblehead Hall of Fame, I think, is the company that's manufactured this. So there it is.
Yeah. So you pick up Running Games, and then you go get the bobblehead, and then you're Joel Hoekstra,
and you're good.
You're right. You get you get the first Joel Hoekstra 13. You get Running Games. You get the bobblehead. That's the melodic hard rock trilogy right there. That's all you're gonna need. That'll at least pass you through the next couple of weeks of quarantine. And
is there you guys should have is there no Don Jamieson bobblehead yet? There should be.
No, I got the War Pig here. The Motorhead Funko. That's the big thing. You got to get a Funko. That's the next one.
There should be a That Metal Show bobblehead collection,
that's what we think.
You, Eddie, and Jim? I mean, that'd be great. I would love that. Come on, man. You guys could sell that. How about 3 bobbleheads in one? You got the TMS logo on it. You'd be all set, man.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to talk to your bobblehead executives over there at the Bobblehead Hall of Fame or whatever they're called over there. But yeah, but I think that's really cool that you have that thing, man. Why not? It's a neat thing to have. I got a Robert Trujillo bobblehead. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, cool. Right on, man. That dude's awesome, man.
Yeah, of course.
What a great player that dude is.
Hey, so another thing that you did, and hopefully you have the pick on standby because I wanted to do this pick of the week, which is, and I saw you do this, which was real cool. Was
let me grab it.
Yeah, I'll set it up. I'll set it up.
Okay, one second.
So Joel, when he was playing in Night Ranger, was out on tour. Night Ranger was opening for Foreigner, and
it can't be far off. It was right here, but I somehow, of course, because I'm a musician. Here, I got it, dude. I got it.
Yeah, so okay. I'm just letting people know when you were out with Night Ranger and you opening for Foreigner, and then there was some shows that Mick Jones couldn't do. So they say, hey, let's see if Joel can fill in so we don't have to cancel these dates. And so you have a little time spent in Foreigner, and you have a little memento from that time.
Yeah, I mean, getting the opportunity to fill in for Mick Jones, and I thought let's go to the full extent here and use Mick's pick while I'm doing it as well. So there you go, got the Foreigner pick with Mick Jones. What an awesome opportunity. Hey, I got a secondary story I just thought of as I empty out my collection here.
Now wait, did Mick give that to you to use on stage, or did you steal it off his amp, or how did you get that?
I just took it. I said, well, where's the Mick pick? I'll play the gig with his pick. I played on his guitar when I was filling in. So I did 10 shows with those guys, and I used Mick's rig, his guitar. I thought let's go ahead and go the full route here and use the pick as well.
I love it. And what's the other story?
So, I wanted to tell you, so last year, we started 2020 Whitesnake touring with the Scorpions, and I was on the cruise, and all of a sudden I got approached by somebody who makes the picks for the Scorpions. He said, hey, I don't know if you got the heads up, but I need you to take these down to Australia. I need you to fly with these. So I got to fly with Rudolf Schenker's picks. And I just thought, somewhere the 11-year-old me is dead on the floor right now. I mean, that just was too cool. There I was flying with I had this big bag of Rudy's picks, and I just thought, this is too cool, man.
Yeah, that's great. It's much safer to be a pick smuggler than smuggling other things overseas, and especially for a guy like Rudy. My pick is a 2015 Ted Nugent pick that I got from the man himself at the Wellmont in New Jersey.
Nice.
When he was playing there, and what happened was we show up there, and there's probably about a dozen protesters out front. Of course, Ted is always a magnet for protesters at his shows. They don't like Ted's views or whatever. I love Ted for his music. I don't, get involved in all that stuff. So as I'm walking up to the venue, there's there's a couple, TV stations there, interviewing people in the crowd, and they go, hey, can we ask you a few questions? And I said, sure. They go, are you here for the show or for the protest? I go, oh, I'm here for the protest. And they go, oh, really? Yeah, well, so that's cool. I go, yeah. He goes, so you're not going in? I'm like, well, I probably shouldn't. I mean, we're all here because Derek St. Holmes isn't playing on this tour, right? Isn't that what we're all protesting? and the guy from the news crew just put his head down and shook and was like, I had to interview the one asshole in the whole group, of course. And it was me. So we went in and we had a great time. And like I said, the dozen or so angry people stood out front while we rocked out with Uncle Ted, which was really fun. And he's always, I hate to ruin his street cred, but he's always a gentleman when he comes to town and invites me and Eddie and Jim out to the shows. And he brings his family out. And, he really is a softie when you get to know him. So,
good guy. He's always been very good to me. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
We share a birthday as well. Every year it's my birthday. It's Ted Nugent's birthday, which I thought fun thing. I got Gene Simmons here. That's
Nice.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got Neil Sean. Where did I just put it? I got everybody from Kiss, actually. I got the. Now my son, he took my Alex Lifeson one. I only had one Alex Lifeson. He was playing with it. He had all my picks out, and it slid underneath the floorboards of my apartment. I went, oh man! So you can't retrieve it, and I just think someday when they demolish this building in 100 years, somebody's gonna look at this. What's this thing? It's my Alex Lifeson pick, man. I only got one. Come on.
Well, that's going to be some find, 100 years from now, man. Because I bet
might be worth some bread, dude. You never know.
And I bet they'll still be playing Rush on the radio, man, because that stuff is timeless. And
timeless.
Hey, listen, man, dude, I'm so happy for you, man. The new record is great. It's called Running Games. Joel Hoekstra, 13. The brand new cassette tape is out now, right?
I wish there was a cassette tape.
Yeah.
That would be too cool. Yeah, it's out now. So everybody, please check it out. Much appreciated. Thank you so much, Don. Thanks for your support, dude. Always a pleasure to rap with you, and best to you. And let's hope we can get back to getting the world open here and actually hang out in person at some point again.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Miss you, and stay healthy, bro.
You too, brother. Thank you so much for your time.
Later, Joel.
Cheers.
Cool. Always fun visiting with Joel.